Greetings, pro wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us at the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm sitting here with
Donovan, and it is Donovan.
It's good to hear the spelling is back.
Hell yeah.
He's back in studio, and we're here for the best of 2019 show from the Pro Wrestling LookBack. We're here.
It's been a good year, man.
It's been a long year. I mean, it went by quick, but at the same time, it feels long. I don't know.
I totally agree with that.
The year felt quick, but it also feels like it's been a long time since we sat down to do the best of show. So it's one of those,
Yep.
in between. But if you don't already, follow us at PW LookBack on Instagram and Twitter. And if you don't, check out at TheLookBackShow. That's going to be the new handle for us going forward. You can give us a follow on either one of those. It'll be depending on when this episode gets released. Give us a follow on both of those at PW LookBack and at TheLookBackShow. You can send us questions or topics, ideas to ProWrestlingLookBack@gmail.com or TheLookBackShow@gmail.com. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, PodBean, YouTube. Hit the 5 stars, hit subscribe, leave us a comment. Like I always say, preferably a good one, but if not, just leave us a comment in general. We want to know what you think of the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
And my Twitter is at JustDon44.
And yeah, like I said, at PW LookBack and at The Lookback Show going forward is going to be where you can find us. That's pretty much it. Teespring.com/ProWrestlingLookBack and at The Lookback Show is where you can find all of our merchandise. We're going to have all kinds of new stuff going forward after kind of the end of 2019 and then going forward like we've mentioned in previous shows with The Lookback Show going forward. But yeah, we're here. This is the best of 2019 Pro Wrestling LookBack. This is, I guess, the last episode under just the Pro Wrestling LookBack name, Don. So it's been a good ride.
Yeah.
And we're here to close it out and ride into the future, right?
A new decade.
A new decade, yeah. This is the last episode of the decade.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, buddy. I've personally been anticipating us doing this for quite some time now. I want to say back in maybe October, I hit you up and I was like, yeah, I guess we're getting there. I'm starting to get some candidates for Wrestler of the Year and Pay-Per-View of the Year and matches. I'm starting to look into it.
Yeah, I know you've been hyped up and excited for this one. I've been just as excited as you, but I don't think I've been getting my notes ready as long as you were. I sat down, last week and I kind of did it all in one day and I was like, you know what? This is the definitive Nick Salsa Pro Wrestling LookBack moments of the year.
Yeah. Best of the year.
Best of the year. So we're going to get into what? Pay-per-view of the year? From each of us?
Match of the year. Feud of the year. We got a moment of the year. We, of course, got a rookie of the year. And the main event of tonight. The wrestler of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm enjoying, the beginning of this. And this is one of my favorite shows that me and you do. So it's going to be fun to sit down and break down 2019 as a whole from the Pro Wrestling LookBack and the world of pro wrestling, WWE, AEW, MLW, NJPW.
Yep. It's all there.
All the different types of wrestling that there is. But is there anywhere, do you want to start with a few kind of moments that tipped us off? Maybe honorable mentions of the year, stuff that's stuck out over the course of 2019?
I got to say, off the top, for one, that this year, man, was a little bit harder for me. I got to say, like last year, I feel like I had the Wrestler of the Year was pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah.
This year was a little bit tough. Same with some other categories. It was like there was a lot to choose from. There was a lot of, as much as sometimes we don't get the best, there was a lot of good stuff that happened when you go back and really look at the whole year. There was a lot that happened.
Yeah, I don't think you would have expected it at the beginning when you would have asked me, but it might have been one of the best years in professional wrestling that we've had in the last, 10 years at least.
Yeah.
A lot of new things happening, new characters being introduced with The Fiend. That's kind of one of my things that sticks out as far as, you ask me what are things that stick out from this year. That's going to be one of them for myself.
Big returns happened. Like we seen fucking Trish Stratus come back and Batista and all this, Goldberg, all kinds of shit happened.
And new people debuting as well with guys like Humberto and all different types of wrestlers kind of all over, like, even guys like Orange Cassidy making their debuts in other companies, and characters that you wouldn't expect to be maybe popping off in 2019. Darby Allin. Yeah, lots of new stuff, lots of good stuff, but I don't know. Let's start it off there, Don. Why don't we get into pay-per-view of the year?
Well, who's setting it off, buddy?
I don't know. How do you want to do it? Do you want to, what do you want to do? You want to do a little rock, paper, scissors live on air?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Loser goes first?
Yeah.
Just one of one here?
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, we both went with scissors. We got to go again. Rock, paper, scissors. All right.
All right.
I win with a rock. He picked a scissors. That means Donovan's going first. Pay-per-view of the year.
All right.
Get it out. Clear the pipes. Get it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pay-per-view of the year for myself. It was a pretty cut and dry for me, buddy. It was NXT TakeOver New York.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, now refresh my memory a little bit. Now, it's just like I said before we hit record, this is kind of like school.
Yeah.
Where, it's pay-per-view of the year. Now you got to tell me why you think this was.
This was the one. This is where we seen Walter and Pete Dunne go down, which was where Walter picked up the UK title, which is one of my favorite matches of the year, man. It was up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we seen Johnny Gargano pick up the NXT title for the first time after a long chase of trying to get it. Him and Adam Cole going at it. This is where Ciampa, he dropped the belt due to the injury, and that all culminated here. This is where we seen Matt Riddle and Velveteen put on a pretty dope match.
And was that this is this past summer, so like SummerSlam time?
Oh
no, New York would have been WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend.
Was it around Mania?
It would have been. If it was TakeOver New York, then it would have been WrestleMania weekend, because I was thinking that because the reason I thought SummerSlam is because they've been in New York so many years for SummerSlam, but obviously this year they were in Toronto with NXT TakeOver Toronto.
So for me, it was I had to look at the overall card, and I had to think back to when I was watching it and how I felt before, after, during, and it was pretty cut and dry to me, man. I enjoyed like every match on the show.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 potential matches of the year on the show, which is a huge.
Pete Dunne Walter, is that the one you're talking about?
Pete Dunne Walter, definitely, and even the highly notable Adam Cole Gargano. Like, they've had a series of matches throughout the year, and all their matches are definitely talked about in great light. So yeah, man, it was pretty cut and dry for me, pretty easy. I got to tell you, though, an interesting fact here. I had a runner-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm going to have some honorable mentions in kind of all my answers, so don't worry about that.
And the runner-up is something I kind of talked about throughout the year on the pod for anyone who's listened to the roundtables and stuff. And this was the Game Changer Wrestling Bloodsport event. This dude, for me, was... and
explain this a little bit more to me. I'm unfamiliar.
So this is more of I want to say it's a combination of like a old school Japanese battle arts style wrestling, more submission knockout based style wrestling. It's still, it's submission, knockout. There's no ropes.
I was just about to say, is this the one that I've seen videos of Simon Gotch when there was no ropes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was wicked, man. I love this card for me. The whole thing I really enjoyed. We had matches on there with people know him, Santino, Anthony Corelli, him and Simon Gotch put on like a match that I didn't expect to be so good, that really almost kind of stole the show.
For Santino having his probably first match in 5 years? Something like that, I would imagine.
And for him getting to do that style, that I think he's really that he comes from that judo background and everything. Seeing all that and him and Gotch do the submission reversals was crazy. Davey Boy Jr. and Tom Lawler, former UFC guy who's in MLW as well. They put on a wicked match. Josh Barnett, of course, put on a match. Josh Barnett was originally supposed to face John Moxley in the main event, and this is where Moxley was actually injured, and he pulled out with the Kenny match, and he pulled out of this.
I was gonna say that was the elbow injury that he had sustained. I didn't really realize that Josh Barnett was pro wrestling.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So he's a commentator, and then he's fought in MMA as well. No.
Yep. UFC.
Wow. Okay. In the UFC.
He's fought in the UFC's other promotions as well.
That's why I knew him from, I guess, Pride and other companies outside of UFC. I didn't realize he was in UFC too.
So it was close, but I did want to go with a traditional wrestling show. Yeah. And I think just by a hair that the NXT TakeOver New York won it for me. I wonder, looking back at it now, thinking about it, that if Moxley and Barnett was the main event and that match did get to take place, I wonder how I would have got to judge it.
If it would have been higher up on your pay-per-view of the year category, or
yeah,
really,
yeah. And
that really says a lot about the Bloodsport show.
Well, because I got to say, for Moxley throughout the year, man, and I'm going to talk about it later in the show too.
Yeah,
he, especially that run in New Japan, he really showed me like a different side of him, And I would love to see him in this type of arena, this style of wrestling.
Yeah,
like more technical. It's not really what he's known for. So to see him in Like I hope in the future
we get more of that.
We get to see that at some point.
Yeah, not so much just the bloody, crazy Kenny Omega wild matches that he's known for, I guess now.
Yeah.
A good one. Remind me, Gargano Cole, they had a match at TakeOver 25 as well in the summertime.
Yeah, I believe that one is that was the 2 out of 3 falls one.
So, and then the first one that you're talking about is when Gargano...
Yeah, first one Gargano wins.
So is Cole a 2-time champion then?
No, Cole is a 1-time champion, I believe.
So who won the title then?
Gargano won the first.
From Cole?
Yeah. No. It was vacant, remember? Ciampa.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's why I was confused.
And
I remember now, obviously, Ciampa, like you said, vacating the title.
And thanks for bringing that up, because honestly, dude, this was another reason that I picked the show too. There was something in the build-up, and I can't remember if I talked about it on the roundtable. If I didn't, I definitely meant to.
Yeah.
There was like a countdown video that I watched like maybe a week before, and it was just about the main event, and it was very like how they do the UFC countdowns, and it showed Gargano training.
Yep.
And going
to each other's gyms.
Yeah.
Is that when Cole went to Gargano's home gym and was making fun of his? I don't know.
No, that might have been more in the storyline. This was actually like a behind the scenes of them in the gym, working out, doing conditioning, getting ready for the matchup. And I thought that was really well done, and it sucked me into it even more. And like I went back the other day, watched it, and I was like, yeah, man, this made it a little more special too. Really added to it. No,
that's interesting that Bloodsport would have been that high if the main event may have been Ambrose and Barnett. That's
potentially, yeah. I mean, if they put on a good match, like.
So is there any other pay-per-views from the year in pro wrestling that are sticking out as far as like, that would be up in that same upper echelon or no? There was some. If not, it's no big deal.
There were some things that happened at SummerSlam that took place in Toronto that I really enjoyed.
Fair enough.
So that probably is in my top 5, I would say.
Okay.
I really enjoyed some of the AEW pay-per-views too.
Yeah, Full Gear was a good one. I remember.
And it was cool. We got to see them for the first time as well.
Doing a pay-per-view. And yeah. Well, is it time for me to go?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a drum roll for myself, but this is the one when me and you spoke on the phone last week. When I said to you, I was like, you know what? I think there's one of these that we may have the same answer for. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be this one. I really did. But it turns out it's not, because my pay-per-view of the year is Money in the Bank 2019.
Okay, nice.
Yes. I'm going to go with this one because it was just a great mix of matches. I'm going to pull up the card in a second because I don't have them all memorized. But there was just little touches, obviously, that I loved. The poster, Becky Lynch sitting on the throne with the 2 belts. That's one of those wrestling posters, I think at least, that you're going to remember. I feel like there's a lot of wrestling posters that go, they come, we see them, and then we completely forget about them until they're, we go do a look-back show of them or something like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas there's other posters like this one, and give me another one like the Kane and or Undertaker and Stone Cold 1998, and
yes,
there's many more. There's a CM Punk, I think Cyber Sunday one sticks out to me, and there's specific pay-per-view posters stick out over time, and in the future, and when you look back at them like we do, you remember them. And I think this one with Becky and the 2 belts is going to be one of those things you remember, obviously from WrestleMania. On top of that, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins. If anybody who hasn't gone back and watched this match, go back and watch it, because this is one of the matches of the year, and this is one of the reasons I'm choosing this pay-per-view as my match of the year, or as my pay-per-view of the year. And then here, I want to pull up the card because there's one more thing. I'll give you the main reason why I chose this one, but I just want to name out a bit of the card. But where were we going to go?
Yeah, no, dude, I totally agree, and I'm going to speak on that some more in the show too. But that Rollins AJ match it was up there. It was a fucking barn burner.
Incredible match,
and especially for being Seth's like first title defense, to have it be so like those moments where you thought, shit, is AJ gonna win?
Exactly. This pay-per-view was full of that. Like, you had Rey Mysterio defeating Samoa Joe in 1 minute and 40 seconds. I remember that was okay. Where the hell did that come from? It was kind of the beginnings ish of the Shane McMahon and the Miz stuff.
Yeah.
Or the end of it, I can't remember. But this was when Shane had escaped the cage.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Cruiserweight stuff, Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, kind of forgettable, I guess.
But that match was on the main card, actually. Remember that?
Which it was. That's because I didn't include the 2 pre-show matches, which is the Usos and Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos on the pre-show, as well as Becky defeating Carmella. Oh no, sorry, that was his first opener of the show. Yeah. Becky defeating Carmella in the Money in the Bank ladder match, or Bayley, not Becky. Jesus, Murphy. So yeah, there was only one on the pre-show, but to continue going forward, Becky 2 matches in the night.
Yep.
facing Lacey Evans and winning by submission for the Raw Championship, and then losing obviously to Charlotte Flair and having the Becky 2 belts kind of go away. I think at the time they had to split the titles up. They had a nice run of a month or a month and a half, I guess it was, post WrestleMania with her having both belts, but I think that needed to happen, so it wasn't a big deal there. And then Bayley defeating Charlotte Flair, cashing in her Money in the Bank in the same night after winning earlier, that night. We've seen that happen before, but it's always exciting. And then to now have us be, approaching the end of 2019 and Bayley's still the champion, approaching on, the longest women's SmackDown champion of all time, whatever that stat means, still significant.
Definitely a moment too. Bayley winning the Money in the Bank and the title.
Her first, I think, real good championship run that she's had on the main roster at least, or in Raw and SmackDown as we refer to it now. Like I said, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles, and then Kofi Kingston defeated Kevin Owens in 14 minutes. I don't remember that one very much. I remember it happened. It's not one of the reasons I chose this pay-per-view to be my...
I remember that match is where his shoe came off or his shoes came off. I do remember a spot like that.
Kofi?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think not for a good reason, but this is one of the biggest reasons I chose this pay-per-view to be my pay-per-view of the year is just the memorable factor, I guess, if that makes sense, and how pissed off I was with this Brock Lesnar thing.
Yeah.
And just, it wasn't that Brock Lesnar won, it was the fact that he didn't wrestle in this match.
Yeah.
And he can just come out at the end of it, throw Arya Daivari off the top of a ladder, or not Arya Daivari, Jesus, Mustafa Ali off the top of a ladder, and win the Money in the Bank briefcase. All said and fine, him winning the briefcase, but why wasn't he involved in the rest of the match?
Yeah.
Going forward, does that mean in Money in the Bank matches you don't have to make an entrance? You don't have to be there when the bell rings? You just have to be there to grab the briefcase?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't somebody taken out too, earlier in the night? I thought somebody was taken out and Brock kind of...
As far as so Ali, Andrade, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, and Ricochet? I think that was...
Oh no, maybe not.
I think they were all in there.
Yeah.
I just know Ali was the one, not that I don't know how many people really thought Ali was going to win the briefcase, but it looked like he was the one that was going to climb up and get that briefcase. And then we get the Brock Lesnar. I wish I could hit the sound button and get it for you, but the Brock Lesnar music hits and he runs down and wins the briefcase, which, like I said, Brock winning the briefcase to me isn't horrible, but I guess you're keeping the protection of the character. I don't know. Why can't he be in the whole match? Why, and isn't that a thing in wrestling to me? I'm just kind of realizing this now, but when the bell rings at the beginning, is that not signifying okay, you're here, we're ringing the bell?
Yeah.
If you're not there when the bell rings, and it's you're not here for the match. It's like not showing up to school. You're late. You're absent. You can no longer compete in the match.
Yeah.
You forfeit, in a sporting term. But yeah, so that's kind of my pay-per-view of the year. That's the significance of having them do that to Brock and what that means to the Money in the Bank rules going forward. That's one of the reasons. Another reason, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and another reason is that amazing poster.
Yeah.
That honestly, if I were to buy a poster and put it on the wall of a WWE pay-per-view, it might be that.
Yeah.
Because I just really, really like that one. I'm not going to pick one of these. As cool as it is to go to SummerSlam and stuff, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm not going to buy one of these generic SummerSlam where it's just, let's pick 6 wrestlers and put their face on and they'll all look very mean and look at the camera. No. Give me something creative like Becky on the throne with it was cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. So I want to give you a couple honorable mentions.
Yeah.
One of them here deserves, I wish I had the pew, 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 because this was just a good fucking idea from WWE, and I guess it was bringing it old school, but halftime heat.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you want to consider this a pay-per-view, but to me, this was just a very cool special event and a really good idea by WWE to say, you know what, let's take the Super Bowl halftime show that people may or may not want to watch, and let's throw on this awesome 6-man tag with, who was it? It was Gargano, Cole.
I know Ricochet.
Aleister Black was in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I know Gargano and Cole, some of their stuff was starting at this point.
I think they were on the same team, actually. I think Adam Cole, Gargano, and Ciampa was a team versus Aleister Black and Ricochet and somebody else.
I think Velveteen
I got it right
Dream,
here.
Velveteen Dream.
That's exactly what it was. It was Cole, Gargano, and Ciampa, which is weird to think about having those 3 on a team together. versus Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream, and Ricochet. I guess Aleister and Ricochet guys now that have moved on to the bigger roster. But yeah, other honorable mentions, SummerSlam, I got it underlined. I was there. Yeah. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, if you listen to the Best of F1 show, you now know that me being at the F1 race very much influenced my decisions for moments of the year. So maybe that's something to come going forward with this show. I don't know. You'll have to listen and see. And WrestleMania. I thought WrestleMania this year, aside from being, almost a full shift at work, it was a well put together show. I'm just sick of we need to get everybody on the card.
Oh, same.
It's become it's not special anymore. It's become not special because it doesn't feel special to make WrestleMania. Everybody makes it to the Super Bowl in WWE.
For the first time in a long time too, though, this Mania, the arena and the setup was very underwhelming.
I like the colors and the logo and everything they did except for the actual stage to me was good. It was just the stage was, we talked about it, I'm sure, after WrestleMania this year in April, but one of the worst stages, I think, in wrestling history because it was just a giant screen. Yeah. It looked like a movie theater drive-in, and that's it. So get a little more creative on that one, WWE. But
hopefully 2020 will,
Hopefully, I don't like to be that guy always saying it, but hopefully AEW forces their hand in that department like they have with the Pyro and a few other things, maybe a record down the line, I don't know. But yeah, so Money in the Bank, pay-per-view of the year, Halftime Heat, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania are my honorable mentions. Nice. And my mouth is very dry. I'm going to take a drink, and you're up next, Donnie. Can I call you Donnie? I don't know.
It's a new one.
I think I've called you Donnie Brasco enough times on this show.
So I guess now we are moving into the Match of the Year category.
We are, yeah. We were going to do Feud of the Year first, but I think Match of the Year, it goes in there because they may overlap.
I'm excited for this one. What more can I say, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
You'll see we'll talk about yours first.
Okay, so before I get into this, I got to say there were some things that happened that made me like really question it. And hey, this might be a controversial decision here.
Shut the hell up!
Yeah, but it's mine. It's mine. It's my album.
This is my
fucking album. You know what I mean? This is my personal favorite.
My album. It's by myself, solo.
So I said it throughout the year, man, and the Match of the Year for me, hands down.
Feud of the Year or Match of the Year?
Match of the Year. Match of the Year for me, hands down. It was not a traditional one by any means, but it was the Moxley versus Kenny Omega match at Full Gear.
Wow.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I watched it. I was fucking drawn in. I was glued in. I was fucking jumping up. I talked about it forever on the roundtable after.
Did you go back and listen to that one? Or?
My favorite things
you just
that
remember.
happened. No, I remember how even now, just thinking about it, dude, it was fucking excellent to me, man. What a great piece of work. And it's not a traditional match by any means. And I don't think that necessarily that it has to be for it to be my favorite match of the year. Mm-hmm. It had a great story to it, great elements, the entire fucking thing. I was drawn in the whole time. You don't know who was going to win going into it either. And two guys who necessarily, like on paper, it's a cool dream match looking type of scenario, but you don't really know how they're going to mesh together. You know what I mean? They're very, very, very different styles.
The storyline going in was amazing too.
Yeah, I loved the fucking build up to it, man. And I loved the little countdown style video that they did too, leading into their shit. There was I think a week before or a couple of days before, and they did it, and they highlighted, I think, the tag team match, this match, and probably the title match with Jericho and Cody as well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a really good pick.
Now, all this being said, I gotta be so like bluntly honest with everybody that like the match that took place in the G1 finals between Kota Ibushi and Jay White, like it's fucked up for me to say, but I feel like I already knew the result going into it, and we talked about this, and I feel like if I got to watch that match live, which I kick myself that I didn't because of my love for Kota Ibushi is one of my favorites, and my hate for fucking Jay White, like I feel like that
you would have been more invested.
The match was so good, man, that like that could have been the match of the year for me if I had seen it live.
And you didn't.
Sad enough to say.
But you knew the result. going in,
into
like you had it spoiled or whatever,
Yeah.
so it wasn't as interesting.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense though.
because like same with the Mox Omega, like I didn't know the result. I did watch it the day after, but I had no idea who won, and I was just watching it with fresh eyes, which is the best way to watch a wrestling match in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I definitely want to shout out the G1 final match. Another match too that was like this. I'm doing
Right.
the little fucking hair away. It was another match that took place in the G1 tournament, and it was Kenta and Ibushi, and it was earlier on in the tournament.
Okay.
It was fucking wicked.
I definitely didn't see that
Wicked
one.
match. Awesome. And I wrote the honorable mention. The actual runner-up on my paper, though, was Rollins versus AJ Styles from Money in the Bank.
From Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I remember watching that with you and the guys.
Yeah.
And this was during the fucking NBA playoffs. I remember the Raptors were playing Milwaukee at the same time, and we were kind of checking the score. And I remember, like, I was so into this match. And like I said, bro, there was those moments where I thought...
And everyone still loved Seth Rollins at this time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that was, June? Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
Not
it was
even?
like... Well, that was the first pay-per-view after Mania. They switched it up this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, no, yeah, because Extreme Rules was way later, and normally Extreme Rules is the one that's right after Mania. You're right.
So that was my official runner-up. But yeah, my choice was the Mox Omega match. And that was my match of the year.
Match of the year from Donovan. I like it. I like that you went a little bit different, too.
Yeah.
It's not traditional wrestling matchup, but I don't know if the listeners are going to like it. Maybe they're going to have to enjoy some of my honorable mentions a little bit more than, I don't know. We'll get to more of that later, but with my feud of the year. But match of the year, I talked about it a little bit, like I said, in the F1 show, but this one here, Charlotte versus Trish Stratus, SummerSlam 2019.
Okay.
Being in the building for this one, that's one of the reasons alone. Number two, who expected them to potentially steal the show at SummerSlam? Not to think that they couldn't, but I don't know how many people were saying that Trish and Charlotte were going to be the ones coming out of SummerSlam with potentially the match of the night. Trish did amazing in her comeback.
Yeah.
Some of the moves that she was pulling, and then the bumps that she took on the outside of the ring, I still remember, cringing, I guess the word would be, in my seat. I was way up in the rafters, and screw you WWE for those lights once again, but it's okay. I enjoyed the show. It was amazing to be there. But yeah, she I think the moment of the night was just how much Trish surprised everyone.
Yeah.
In Toronto, in her hometown. Her gear with the I didn't notice that till the next day. She had like a CN Tower or something on the back of her gear.
Wow. I
Never.
didn't know that.
I didn't notice it at all until somebody had pointed it out on some show I was listening to. And then the crowd, just how into the crowd, like into the match this crowd was. Obviously, it being a Toronto based fan base, and Trish being from Toronto.
Yeah.
And then I said it already, but like her final match, just the fact that she came back. Who thought she was coming back to do as well as she did? And then it's her final match. Obviously, we all kind of assume she's going to maybe lose. It is Charlotte. It's it's the queen of WWE. It's the top girl that isn't the man. It's to be expected. But I think the performance that she put on over exceeded any expectations that anyone had for that match. Those are some big words. Jesus fuck. And not too big, but it was just incredible. And then on top of all that, a little tidbit for me, I'm sure this is partly one of the reasons I chose it for match of the year, is I was there for both, man. I seen a picture on Instagram the next day after I was there, and when she retired in 2006, and she faced Lita, and she won the women's championship and then vacated it the next night. I was there for that. I was in the building for that, and then her to come back and have her official comeback match in Toronto once again. I'm happy I was there for that, and there for both of them, because I kept seeing in between she came back. She had a match with Snooki or something.
Or a random
so
6.
I always remembered in my head like, oh, that sucks, because she her last official match wasn't the one in 2006 that I thought it was, but now that has been rewritten, and her final match was this match at SummerSlam 2019 against Charlotte. So yeah, that's gonna be my match of the year as far as like definitive number one.
Good.
Maybe more than just what they did in the ring, but as a whole, and looking back as we do. I got to give some love, though, to some honorable mentions.
Yeah, I'm excited for this too.
Kofi versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They delivered.
That was
I think that's, if you had to give me one word to describe that match, it would be they delivered. That match did everything it was supposed to do for Kofi Mania, for Daniel Bryan, and for Kofi Kingston. This other one, Gargano versus Cole, but mine was from TakeOver 25.
Okay, yeah,
that's the one that I had asked you about. I kind of got them mixed up there. And shout out to that one. That's the one where I did the round table by myself. So I had talked about that match on the round table by myself, kind of giving.
That's
my
where you finally kind of gave the Adam Cole a little bit of love. I remember.
It is, yeah. I think after, because I watched that entire pay-per-view by myself, and then I was forced. I think not forced, but just that week, schedules didn't match up, and I had to I wanted to put out an episode, and I had to do the roundtable by myself. So I did that, and then the last one, man, I gotta say, you were in the building for this one too. Buddy Murphy, Roman Reigns, SmackDown Live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That was if it wasn't the homecoming or the what's the word, Don? The
coming out party?
The coming out party, that's the one for Buddy Murphy, then I don't know what was.
Yeah.
Because his match with Aleister Black there a month ago at what was it, TLC, incredible. And I don't think, guys like Vince McMahon or guys, people backstage making decisions, I don't know if they would have put Buddy in that position if he didn't shine the way he did against Roman Reigns in that match on SmackDown.
Yeah, fuck, that's a good one. That was great too.
It was incredible, and it's another one of those. I mean, I know 2 of my 4 I was in the building for, but that's just how it is for me.
Yeah. I gotta say too, as just a little jab at you a little bit. Okay. As a Charlotte fan, I'm very happy that that she's in your match of the year.
Yeah, I had to, man. I try to make my picks sometimes not solely based on when we're going in the record books, what is the match of the year? Yeah. It's kind of just what are the things that pop into your head for 2019, like our memorable moments of the night when we do the pay-per-views. Very similar to that. So yeah, there was no biases being made when I made my decision for match of the year.
And I remember too when we did our post SummerSlam show talking about it, like we all of us who were on that show,
Shane included,
spoke very highly of that match as well. So it was definitely. And even your honorable mentions and some of the ones that I mentioned as well, dude, we got a pretty good fucking idea of what we're talking about here, because I've done my research, and a lot of the shit that we're talking about is in lists and top 10s and different things that I've looked around doing research about too.
And you'd want to make it unique too, but at the same time still sound credible. So
exactly.
That's what it is. But are you up next? What are we gonna do? Feud of the year?
What it do, baby?
Here we go. I don't have it here. Let's just keep this going. Let's just random sound effects before each of the segments.
It's boss time.
How fitting. Almost.
I was going to say, wouldn't it be cool if the sound effect had something to do with our answer?
Close. I got to tell you, dude, with this one, I did have a little bit of trouble. Not going to lie to you. I had a bit of trouble. I was thinking in my mind, before I like to do any type of internet researching, I scrolled the old memory bank.
Yeah,
and
that's like I just said, the stuff that pops into your head first. Sometimes you got to go with those. I don't mean to cut you off. I know what you're getting at. So
I was thinking, and I'm like, I don't know, like I did enjoy Becky and Sasha Banks' feud.
Yeah.
I think maybe if it I don't know if they did a couple of pay-per-views. Well, they did a couple. That's probably my runner-up. Like that's why I was
for feud of the year would be those two.
Yeah, because even when like Sasha coming back and everything, it was crazy. It was good shit.
Her coming back was incredible. And now you got me all.
Their Hell in the Cell.
You got
match.
Me all turned around. So what was it? Hell in a Cell they fought, and then they had 2.
I thought they had one before that though. Before Hell in the Cell.
I'm trying to think what would have been after SummerSlam. What was the pay-per-view directly after SummerSlam? Because Sasha made her debut the night after SummerSlam. Because I was there. It was in Toronto.
Oh, true. And at SummerSlam, SummerSlam she fought Natalya.
Yeah, we just inside scoop. We just watched it on the WWE Network the day of recording this.
Didn't they? I don't know. I'm going on too long about my runner-up. So
anyway,
let's get to
Feud of the Year.
The Feud of the Year. Yo. Shout out to this guy. Man,
I thought you were going to say our truth there for a second. Jeez.
What, the 24/7 title?
No,
bro?
just with the yo.
No, shout out to
people
this guy.
over there. What's up?
Shout out to my boy, man. Because he was involved in last year's Feud of the Year for me too, I believe. And there was Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole was my Feud of the Year for this year.
That makes sense.
I believe last year was Gargano and Ciampa. So
well, Gargano and Ciampa, I keep seeing rumors that could be Feud of the Decade, and I certainly think it might be up there. Maybe John Cena, CM Punk might be in that conversation as well.
I watched a sick little video on different feuds of the decade yesterday, actually.
That would be very cool to see.
Yeah.
Because I can think of a few off the top of my head now that may stick out.
Charlotte Becky.
Yep.
It's up there.
Who do you think Randy Orton's top competitor of the decade would be? Not to get too off topic. John Cena? Probably John Cena.
I don't know if I'm biased, dude, but that Christian shit was fucking amazing. Like, that shit was so good.
You were thinking that as soon as I said it, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That shit was so good.
Yeah, some good feuds of the decade. But
Daniel Bryan versus The Authority.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
This could be a separate show. We could do, moments of the decade.
But let's get back to it here.
Don's feud of the year for 2019.
Cole and Gargano, man. It's like, it was the one that kind of instantly popped in my head. And it wasn't even like super long, but it was like, it was kind of drawn out a bit.
No, but it was long enough, and
right?
They trickled it.
And to think that it all started with an injury, right? Like, this all started with basically Ciampa falling out, and then them just having to roll with it. And like, I in all the research and things that I've even looked up and little highlights and matches I've went back and watched doing getting ready for the show. Like, these guys, like we said, man, their match at TakeOver 25,
their match at
New York.
Yep, that's what I was just gonna say.
They're in talks of match of the year.
And when you have two matches in your year that are both in running for match of the year, then I would imagine that single feud that had those two matches is probably going to be in the talks for feud of the year. So you're not surprising. I don't think very many people not to.
Yeah,
but this one is one of those ones for 2019. When you're looking back at it, Cole and Gargano is gonna stick out.
Yeah, tore the house down every time, and the little things that happen in between, besides the in-ring stuff, like the little countdown video I talked about, like Cole going to Gargano's hometown, like
that stuff was incredible, man.
Candice being involved and the shit that Cole would say to him, like, it was crazy because Gargano, like, he was on this big chase of getting the title, finally getting the title, and then holding it for like such a short period of time, and Cole being like, yo, you can't defend it, like, you're a one-hit wonder. And then that's what it ended up being. Like, the story is just still fucking crazy.
And Cole's still the champion now.
Still rocking with it, yeah. So, two guys who, and probably easily could be wrestler of the year as well. So,
yeah, definitely in the conversation.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy one for me. I got to shout out, like, honorable mention to definitely Becky and Sasha, because I really enjoyed that one. That might be my next runner-up. As much as I didn't like all the shit with Kofi, him and Daniel Bryan was a really good feud leading into him getting the title. I enjoyed all that stuff. So yeah, that would be it for me. I also, dude, fuck it, just because. Shout out to. It was so short but sweet, and I loved the match too. In the end, I know people didn't, but I did. And Triple H and Batista, man.
Ah, yes.
It was short, but I fucking enjoyed that too. So shout out to that in the conversation as well.
No, that was a great match. The story that they told, and I'm just happy that it closed the book the way that Batista wanted the book to close. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets to do that, and Batista, we now know, is somebody that ended his wrestling career exactly the way that he wanted to. Which I think that's just cool. You know what I mean? Am I up?
You're up.
I'm
Batter up.
I don't have a...
Just give us a random one again. Come on.
Just another...
Perfect.
How's that? All right. So this one, I might need the sound effect again in a second after I say my answer. This is what I was getting at there when I was talking about match of the year and why I may have some negative heat towards me. But there's a reason why I chose this as my feud of the year, and it's not because I think it's the best feud of the year. I chose The Fiend versus Seth Rollins.
Okay.
And the reason that I chose The Fiend versus Seth Rollins is because I think this is one of the most significant feuds of the year. This is not something that you see very often, that a feud is so bad that a character then becomes changed because of a feud. And a match that is booked so poorly at Hell in a Cell.
This is great.
That it then changes the way that a character is perceived who is a champion of that company. So I think just how it shows you that, yes, you can have amazing things like Cole and Gargano and like some of my honorable mentions that I'll get to in a second, but it shows that an awful feud, an awful booking can stand out enough at least to me, to be, again, and when I say this as feud of the year, it's not the best. It's just, this is memorable, like I talked about earlier, and I'm going to keep stressing it. This is, when I was thinking in my head, feud of the year, it's not just because it's recent. I was thinking Seth Rollins and The Fiend, because all the talk. This was the talk on every podcast. After that Hell in a Cell match ended between these two, and the build-up that we had with Seth Rollins getting attacked, and what was it, The Fiend like holding his face up all close to him by the camera, and nobody knew what the fuck was going on. It was very weird. It was a very weird feud. So I just think that alone, the fact that they changed Seth Rollins, they turned Seth Rollins into this mafioso bad guy that has Albanian bully heaters. Yeah. From the ultimate babyface that took out Brock Lesnar.
Won the Royal Rumble.
Last year. Like, quite the year for Seth Rollins.
Beat Braun and shit.
Exactly. So, I just want to stress that the reason I'm saying that this is my feud of the year is because it had such a significant impact in WWE and professional wrestling that it's going to stand out as the feud of the year, because you're going to remember that debacle and how much they had to change and fix. And not that it was even that bad. I'm just talking about the reception that it had after it was over. Yeah. Because it wasn't like, I mean, there's been worse shit in wrestling. but it's like, that's all you heard about for 2 weeks was the Seth Rollins Fiend feud.
Called it the worst ending in like pay-per-view history.
So there you go. Like, that alone to me brings it up. But I'll get to some positives if you want.
And even the positives of when the Fiend won the title, like, that was a fucking moment.
Exactly. It made the Fiend winning the title that much better.
On Halloween.
That was, I mean, the fact that it was in Saudi Arabia, I'm sure wasn't everybody's most, happy moment, but it still
popped me.
And just this feud changed Seth Rollins' 2019. Yeah. Without this feud, Seth Rollins in 2019 looks differently. Yeah,
for sure.
You know what I mean? And even if, obviously, he was starting to maybe go downhill a little bit before this feud thing, or this Fiend thing, but I just think his whole year would have looked a lot different if he wasn't feuding Seth Rollins, or feuding the Fiend here in October, I think it was, or just before. But yeah, like I said, I'll get to a couple more positive ones. I know that was going to ruffle some feathers, but I thought with you having some good ones.
No, dude, I think that's an awesome choice, and you brought like really good points to the table as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. So another one, this was kind of the beginning of the year and the end of last year, but I would say what took place in 2019, because I'm thinking of it, post Royal Rumble, was pretty significant, pretty good storyline stuff backstage, and that's Ronda and Becky. Everything that we had, Ronda, Becky, all the way leading up to Mania. I know it was a bit of a debacle with adding in Charlotte, and it became a triple threat, and the title, she lost the title, and she had to... But it all just kind of worked for me. All the backstage stuff, all the promos that we had with Ronda and Becky, they were all really good. And then it just made Becky winning after her 8-hour shift at WrestleMania at the end. It made her winning that title, or both titles, that much better. So that's another one for me. Another one there in my honorable mentions is Adam Cole and Gargano. Shout out to you in picking that one. And then another one, it was again small, like your final honorable mention, but Rey Mysterio and Brock Lesnar. Yeah. And everything that was involved with Dominic and Rey, and the frog splashes and the double 619 and the chairs and the lead pipes, and well done. I haven't busted it out tonight, but maybe more because it was an unexpected thing. But here's a round of applause just to that little feud, because I don't think anybody expected we were going to get much out of Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio in that feud, but it turned out being really good.
And it kind of all started, like, the way they tied in the whole thing, going back to like Cain Velasquez, like that all kind of started it too. Like this was pretty well drawn out. I thought this feud actually was very well treated,
Do you think that was the plan from the beginning when Rey got involved? This is how we're going to introduce Cain?
I don't know, but like, kudos, because it was really well done. I like how long it took for them to actually get to fighting each other. You know what I mean?
Similar to maybe, you know what? I should have, because we're past it now, but I should have mentioned in the feud of the year is the Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black stuff, because I really enjoyed that build up, and just like you said, how long it took. Yeah, that's what triggered that memory there. But I don't know. Time to move on.
Yes. Yeah,
what are we going to now? Are we going to rookie?
Well, I had a moment as a little bit of a buffer.
Okay, I got two, and I'll change it because I had a return, but I'm going to change my return to moment. Okay, and then I'll have two in there. So give me your moment of the year.
All right. Well,
I feel like this is weird that we're putting it right in the middle, but it's okay.
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Dude, easily was the return of Batista.
Ah.
Yeah, and it was. I'm talking
The
about
music and everything?
No, I'm talking about when he popped up on Raw and attacked Ric Flair
Oh.
and said, "Do I have your attention now?" Like that moment.
That was
specific.
That was insane.
Like
That was definitely one of the moments of the year.
the return as a whole, but that specifically, man, because I remember sitting in my fucking living room, like I don't even watch Raw typically. You know
I
what
didn't
mean?
tell you. Remember I saw that before you? And I'm
No, I watched that live.
Did you?
Yeah, because this is what I'm getting at. I don't typically watch Raw.
That's what it was. Sorry.
I caught like the last half hour.
We talked about it, and we talked about the fact that you happened to be watching, and I knew you were watching, and I was like, oh my God, whenever Donovan sees this, holy shit.
Yeah, so like leading into it, Ric Flair's birthday, like I don't know, it didn't even cross my mind that Batista would come back, or cross my mind that this would even be anything. I thought it was gonna be a just feel good moment.
Yeah.
And for that shit to happen, dude, I remember sitting there on my couch and I was like, holy fuck. I was like, no, I was losing it. And then that's how the show ended. And then it led to a fucking, probably one of the most infamous, like now lines or sayings of the year, quotes of the whole, give me what I want. Like, come on, man. We use that.
Give me what I want.
That's going to be remembered forever.
Give me what I want.
Forever.
Yeah, that's the fact that I have it there as a clip that easily to access tells you how significant that moment was. That's a good one.
That was a standout for me, man. As I try and think of my general, reaction of excitement or joy when I thought about this moment. And so in the runner-up category, I got a couple of honorable mentions here. And John Cena Thugonomics at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I
Because
don't have a sound effect for that one, but I wish.
We were all losing our shit. Like that was so unexpected, man. And we were all just super excited. I haven't seen Cena in a bit, and to have him come back with that, like that's one of my shout out to our theme show. That was one of my favorite wrestling themes of all time.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, man. That was crazy moment of the year. And another one, just to do the honorable mentions as well, when The Fiend won the title. Because I really didn't know if he was going to win the title. This whole draft and SmackDown Raw, Saudi Arabia, like so many factors to screw bullshit that happened, like you talked about.
And like you said on Halloween, it with that character on Halloween.
Middle of the day. I was watching that live too, and I remember yelling, like literally excitement of, yes! When that 3 hit, yes! So,
yeah.
those
are all good ones. I gotta think. We've already talked about the top 2 of mine that I'm thinking as far, but they're the ones for me that stick out. And again, like I said, I did it in the F1 show, but it's gonna be stuff that I was there for. So number 1, I think, has to be the debut of The Fiend.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And hearing that Fiend entrance music and being live in the building for the first time The Fiend ever made an entrance. Yeah. That was insane. I thought I was at a Slipknot concert for a few minutes. Incredible. So, him beating Finn Balor quickly, it is what it is, but that was, that led to Finn Balor heading his way to NXT anyway, so it all made sense.
Yeah.
But just the entrance music and the way that they changed the music and the lighting, it was all awesome. That was definitely one of the moments of the year for me. Number 2, again, I was in the building, but Sasha Banks. When Sasha Banks made that debut, and she came out and slapped the shit out of Natalya and ripped off that wig and had the blue hair. Hey, go back and watch the replay, because you're going to see me in the crowd right there chirping Sasha Banks saying, go bitch on Twitter some more, Sasha.
Yeah, that was up there for sure.
Another just, wicked moment of the year. And then I guess this one, I kind of talked about it again already, but I just want to go with stuff that pops to my head first, because in my opinion, the stuff that pops to your head first is the stuff that you think of as, your moments of the year. But Becky, double champ, and the mane, her hair. I remember at the end of that match, her hair looked like she looked like a lion. Yeah. It was like insanely puffed out. I don't know what, whatever she had done before to make it do that. But yeah, I guess the number 3 moment was probably Becky, finally reclaiming the women's title and getting both titles at WrestleMania and beating Ronda finally. Yeah. Even though the pin was a little iffy.
Yeah. I think they'll revisit that, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Them two,
the pin itself or just the match?
Them two. Just them two.
Yeah, I meant, do you think they'll bring up the fact that pin was...
That's true. I totally forgot about that, even as you're talking about it. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, her shoulder was kind of up.
They definitely should.
It was a little funky.
That's great. But it's great to the whole bigger picture of the story in the end.
Let's hope Ronda wants to come back and do some more stuff. That would be ideal.
Royal Rumble season's here, buddy.
What do you think? It's her season?
I'm just saying.
I could do without hearing that music for a little bit, though. I'm not big on her music, I gotta be honest. What do you want to move on to here, too, Don?
Well, I guess we don't got much left but to talk about the Rooks.
WE stands for!
And it's fucked, man, because like I said it to you off pod, and I'm going to say it here for our listeners. Like, I had a hard time with this.
What's up?
I had a real hard time with this. Like, it did.
Yeah, I did too.
It did.
I did too. There was, for me, I almost can't even mix my rookie in with, like, I can almost have my honorable mentions be in the same level as my rookie. So, like, I gave you a definitive answer because I felt like I had to. Mm-hmm. But I don't even feel 100% confident in saying that, yes, this is the rookie of the year if I go back and, see how much he was around or she was around. Mm-hmm. But I'll let you go first, as we've been doing. Well,
I'm going to do one quick honorable mention about this because originally I had picked, I was kind of thinking like Dominik Dijakovic as my rookie of the year.
Okay.
But then again, I'm looking it up and he didn't technically debut, much like Mustafa Ali. Like Mustafa Ali didn't technically debut this year. Like
when you say debut, what we're referring to here, at least what I was referring to, was that specific show. So when you say Dijakovic, you would say, when did he debut in NXT?
Yeah.
When you say,
yeah, because it was at the tail
different
end.
wrestler, you say that I don't want to give away my answer.
It was at the tail end of 2018.
That he made his debut in NXT?
He debuted. But I believe that when he first popped up, he was still Donovan Dijak. Like he didn't do the whole change yet.
Okay.
So like it was kind of tricky, I want to just shout him out anyway because I think that like
he's not
he's not my official pick just because of the controversy behind it. And like,
fair enough.
So, but definitely like in the running and a guy who I even think could shine and become a wrestler of the year down the line because he's fucking killing it over there, putting on amazing matches. And I like he's got a good presence and look to him too. But my official pick for Rookie of the Year is not necessarily one guy; it's two guys, and this is the Street Profits. Dude, these are my rookies. This is my Rookies of the Year. Rookie of the Year was the Street Profits. So shout out to fucking Tag Team Wrestling.
Yeah, well, I felt like that explosion sound fits their personalities and the way that they've exploded into Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, man, and these guys are legit rookies, I believe, too. Like I was
in both senses. I think they were rookies to NXT in 2019, let alone Monday Night Raw. So that kind of works for both sides.
And they've won me over, man, too, as well. So that had a lot to do with me picking them because at first I wasn't super big on them in NXT. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't. And a lot of it was that
you were quite vocal on that.
Yeah, I wasn't, and a lot of it was getting to see them talk and doing the whole week-to-week thing backstage,
updates,
even when they were still on NXT technically.
Yeah.
A lot of that, I was like, it showed the character and the personality of the guys, and then so I really got into them from that, and then. They're just good, I think, overall, like, baby faces, which is so hard to get in today's, like, pro wrestling, man. Like, you don't get a genuine, like, baby face.
No,
like,
and they are. Hard. Like, they come out bouncing around, shaking the cups, and, everybody's into it. The solo cups, and everybody loves it. Their music is perfect.
Yeah, man. And they can go. I like the style of the team, how the one guy is... He's more very, very athletic, and the bigger dude, he's
still got some
beat your ass.
Yeah, and the one guy, I get their names mixed up, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Yeah. I think Montez Ford is the skinnier one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe a controversial statement, but fuck, maybe the best frog splash other than Eddie Guerrero, and maybe RVD, because that guy can do a frog, like, holy shit.
Dude, while we're on frog splash for a quick sec, Leo Rush got a good one.
Yeah, I haven't seen his, but his is a little more, he keeps the hands closed, no?
Yeah,
and he does
between the leg.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can picture that one. I've never been a fan of that one. That was not the one that I was doing on the trampoline back in the day, I can tell you that.
But yeah, man, Street Profits that was my pick for rookies, I guess, of the year.
Rookies of the year, yeah, that makes sense.
Shout out to Heavy Machinery as well, dude, because I thought about...
So did I.
I did.
I really actually did too. It's funny you say that. Yeah.
Really so 2 tag teams. I thought about picking them. A guy who's not a rookie per se, but Ricochet kind of crossed my mind.
Yeah, kind of a rookie to Monday Night Raw. So and you could use that. Mm-hmm. I would accept it.
He crossed my mind. I feel like if Cain Velasquez got to do more work, he could have been a pick. Could have been, but he didn't. He did nothing really. He did one match.
I feel like, yeah, you could be right, but that's it's a stretch.
It's a what if.
It's
a what
yeah,
if. It's a what if.
You could have been rookie of the year if you had, you know what I mean? Like, not this. I'm just saying, like, if you had a lot of matches, you could almost say that for a lot of people. Not to downgrade your answer. He didn't show a lot from me.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But I feel like if he, like, last year, man, it was without a doubt that it was without a doubt because he just put in the work. And I feel it's like, it sucks because, like, he was the legit only new guy on the scene of professional wrestling. Like, when you look at it this year, the only legit, like, new... You
mean somebody from outside of professional wrestling or somebody from...
brand new, like, debut. Like, everybody else, like, even the guy, like, Dijakovic, like, he's wrestled before on the indies and shit.
Well, that's what I mean. You mean outside of professional wrestling.
Yeah, like, just a brand new...
Because no matter who you're going to find in WWE... Like, if WWE's going to sign somebody that doesn't have a celebrity name, then they're going to have wrestling experience. So then they wouldn't be.
But I just mean that was a legit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway.
No, that's a whole separate conversation in itself.
There was another shout out I had. I wish he got to do more. I feel like it's not until, like, it was kind of start stop with Buddy Murphy. So I feel like if
you can't really give him the rookie of the year.
I would love to.
Cause definitely give him honorable mention.
Yeah. So
between his match at TLC and the feud with Alistair.
Yeah, and all the stuff he did when he was tied in with Daniel Bryan and Roman.
Yeah.
Like, so he did that, and then they kind of stopped it for a bit. And then they kind of starting it again now.
With the Alistair stuff. So. And he did lose to Alistair, but I think that's just because they know Alistair. They want to keep him up and up and up, eventually have him maybe compete for a top title.
I did think about Humberto, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Street Profits. With
that being said, my rookie of the year for 2019 is Humberto Carrillo.
Oh.
I had to go quick after you said that.
Yeah.
I couldn't choose. This is why, like I said, I almost felt like I settled a little bit. Not to say Humberto hasn't had an amazing year. He hasn't had an amazing 12 months. He's had an amazing 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
So, the reason he's in the slot for me that he is the in-ring stuff that this guy puts on. His matches with Cien Almas.
Yeah.
And just all the...
Seth. The one with Seth was good.
Yeah, the one with Seth. He's had a few just incredible Monday Night Raw.
AJ.
That's what I was going to say. There was a Seth and an AJ. Because there was 2 main guys that I knew he fought with. He went pretty long. They've trusted him. I think that's another reason why I'm giving him the Rookie of the Year is if you're being put in Monday Night Raw significantly long, 10-minute plus matches with AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, some of these top guys, it matters.
Yeah.
They changed his music, which meant, they care enough to change the music and say, we want to have this guy on TV more often. Let's change his music around and do something to get the fans more into him. And I think that's all being part of Rookie of the Year is how much the company's getting behind you. Yeah. And how much you feel that you are going to have a better 2020. And if we had to pick somebody that I think is on the upward trajectory of having a good 2020, along with Aleister Black, would be somebody like Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah.
Can I say any of this stuff for his gear? No, I can't.
The jacket,
the jacket is, it looks like Power Rangers. I seen somebody make a meme. You know how the way he looks at the TV? Like he just has that smile. He's looking over to the right of the TV. And it was just him looking at the TV and it was just Power Rangers on the TV, like all 5 of them. And I was like, this is perfect because, his gear looks like he should be in Power Rangers. Now, do you know, was he another guy like Cien Almas where he was wearing a mask before he was in the company or no?
You know what? I actually do not know much about his past.
Because that's what I was going to say. He's another guy. You said there hasn't been new wrestlers this year, and I didn't want to give away my answer for rookie, but to me, I would put him in that category.
Yeah.
But then it changes when you say, obviously if he's a wrestler and he's being signed by WWE, you got to have some kind of experience. He's not a celebrity. He's not going to get signed out of nowhere. So as far as like new, unexperienced to WWE, and he didn't even spend, I don't think, that much time in NXT. He was on 205 Live for a little
cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's, all reasons why I think he is my Rookie of the Year. Yeah. But yeah, I really think he can be a big star if done correctly. His promo work needs some work, but he's got a deep voice and he can really project his voice. I just think he needs to work on the English, but that's like a lot of guys now,
Yeah. And I've said on previous shows throughout the year, roundtables, his in-ring work is really, really good.
Oh, incredible. That, like I said, that is the reason solely, if I had to give you one, as far as why he's in that position for me. Honorable mentions. I think you're going to like these, my friend.
All right.
The Fiend
Yes.
is number one because I'm going to consider that a new character in
Yeah.
WWE. Whether it's being played by the same person, it's a new character in WWE. So The Fiend is definitely going to be one of them. Out of nowhere here, Sammy Guevara. And I'm going to give him one of these because
that's a good one, actually.
I did not know much about this guy other than shout out to our boy Younger telling me about him when he was back on Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG. But yeah, he's done an incredible job. I like the whole panda thing. For being such a little guy, he fits in with the big boys there in Jericho and
He's a good owner.
Swagger. Yeah, I think, and that's another guy, like I said with Humberto, that I can see in 2020 going forward. I don't know if we're going to see turns on Jericho or anything like that, but I can really see him potentially being a big star for AEW.
Yeah, I've seen Jericho speak very highly of him outside of TV as well.
Okay,
He's
so that
very,
it says a lot. And like I said, shout out to Younger because Younger was hyping this guy up a long time ago. And then I did have one with you. I wrote it down. They technically debuted in 2018, but she had such a good 2019 with the transition of her character, and that's Io Shirai.
Yes.
In the heel transition and totally changing everything, that her character represented. I think she's got to be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much else to say about her. It's just the fact that that character switch and it did I don't know. It did so well.
Oh yeah.
It worked. It just worked.
The
Everyone bought into it.
Oh, I was thinking of thing. I was thinking of somebody else. My bad.
You're thinking of Kyrie and getting rid of the pirate? No, but that's no. She did that too, and that worked. But she's just not a rookie.
Yeah.
Io Shirai had the whole rookie thing in the feud with Candice LeRae and the switching to the black gear.
That was a good feud too.
That's another good one. We should put up there in feud of the year.
I forgot to shout her out, dude, and you brought a woman into honorable mention. And I honestly meant to do this too, but Lacey Evans, I want to shout out too, man, because I think I didn't expect her to be as good as she is, just off her appearance and the whole schmaz of her coming out every week, and they did that for so long.
Yeah,
and that was all this year, man. That was all happened this year. She was so new, and then when she got in the ring, she can go. Pretty well with Becky and Charlotte. She's done some good stuff.
Learned quickly.
Yeah.
She can handle herself. She's incredible on the microphone.
And that punch is fucking sick.
It is. It's worked from day one when she was in NXT. And honestly, if anybody enjoys her character more and wants to know more about her, go listen to the episode of Lacey Evans on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast. I'm way behind right now as far as current up to date, but that's one of the ones I did listen to, and it's a really, really good episode.
Yeah.
Well worth checking out. How do you want to do this? Do you want to move on to worst moment of 2019, or do you want to go with Wrestler of the Year? I think we should.
Some goosebumps.
I think we should go with worst moment of the year because I don't want to end the show that way.
So I didn't actually have I didn't write down a specific one of this.
I think you could think of a couple. If not, I can go first and change it up.
Man, it's got to be.
Rest in peace.
You're jogging my memory with
in
that
Saudi
fucking-
Arabia, my friend. I think for
that
myself, the number one worst moment of the year, at least for me, is got to be the Undertaker versus Goldberg in Saudi Arabia. I think that's just one of the things. If we could hit the backspace button or hit the clear cut, copy, paste into the trash can, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Excuse me, in my opinion, but yeah.
I think that it's not the worst, but it was up there for shit that it kind of I was like they kind of fucked that up, was when Seth Rollins beat Braun Strowman the way he did, because they gave Braun a lot of steam again, and this is where the whole shit of the fucking 20 curb stomp started that he eventually did to the Fiend.
Yeah, because he gave
and they were a tag
Braun,
team. That was a good storyline, man. Them as a tag team and the unconventional shit about it, and then Braun had some steam going finally again, and now where the fuck is he? Right?
Yeah,
that was a moment that I was like, ugh. I just feel like they could have dealt with the booking at the end of that match way differently to help both guys. Again, shout out to Seth Rollins because he's in my
worst. Yeah. The only other one.
The Fiend, the first match.
Oh
with
yeah.
Seth and him.
Oh, that you think that's another worst moment of the year? Is that
end that
Hell in a Cell
curb stomp shit. And
throwing 15 chairs on top of the Fiend and piling him up with all the toolbox in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, and then to have the Fiend like get up at the end and attack him, and then you could hear the crowd like saying others. Like, it was just fucked up.
Yeah, I told you, man. There's a reason why I chose that as my feud of the year, is because it's the one that you're going to remember. Maybe not for good reasons, but
yeah. So those are.
Yeah, the only other one I was going to say, and it was in my pay-per-view of the year, it was Brock winning the Money in the Bank and just kind of totally fucking up the rules of how the Money in the Bank match works, in my opinion. But yeah,
Poor Mustafa, man, because like.
You think he was going to win? You really bought into that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, first was the whole thing with, like, the Kofi, like, he got injured, and then
Kofi Mania started like, because of him.
Fuck, poor guy.
Yeah.
What a story they could tell later with that, you know, if he gets frustrated and shit. Like,
I still think there's a good future ahead with Mustafa, especially, you know, not that it's happening anytime in the near future, but with guys like Triple H coming in and taking over, I think guys like Mustafa Ali are going to be okay. It's I really think that it's the bigger dudes and the guys that maybe don't have. Not to say if you're big, you got to worry, but if you can't go from bell to bell, I think that's the people that got to be worried.
Yeah,
and he's not one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, should we get to the moment of the night here?
The main event.
Our wrestler of the year from the Pro Wrestling LookBack.
Yeah, this has been good, man. It's been fun.
All right, I just wanted to play a little bit of that.
I like perfect, just the right amount.
Just the right amount. Wrestler of the year, ladies and gentlemen, coming up right now. From Donovan.
Ladies and gentlemen, this by far was the hardest one for me. Like, this was definitely
you had a tough time with this list.
I did. I had a list of guys and gals in my phone still that from the early, like, this was probably the first topic I thought about.
Mm-hmm. Back in February.
And I was waiting to see things that would happen and take place, and like I kind of let it just go. So my honorable mentions are pretty interesting here.
Okay, you gonna start with those, or are you gonna start with the wrestler of the year? It's up to you. Do you want to build up to it, or do you want to give me the wrestler of the year and then tell me?
Let's build up to it.
Okay, and then I'm gonna have to build up to it too.
Let's build up to it.
Okay.
I think that easily. I think Daniel Bryan potentially could have won wrestler of the year.
Completely agree with that.
Especially going back to the turn and the
Planet,
heel, like
the Planet champion.
Work, all the work that he did as a heel.
That was all in 2019. That was all post Survivor Series.
Yeah.
2019, or he was already the champion, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
So,
but that was
2018 technically, but yeah.
But the whole him and AJ stuff that was in 2019. Like that whole
and
run,
leading into WrestleMania, all the Kofi stuff, everything he did with Kofi Kingston was incredible.
And how the roles were reversed, and he was calling him B+ and shit. He's awesome, man. He did some really good work as a heel.
Resurgence of Daniel Bryan, you could say.
Yeah, man.
Like the real resurgence, not the fighting in a tag team match at WrestleMania, which was okay, but
and like. Yeah, it's crazy to me to think about, because like going back a few years before we did the show, like Daniel Bryan probably at some point was the wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. You mean in 2014 or something like that?
And it's crazy to think that like this guy potentially could have had like that great run again now. And maybe, I don't know, maybe next, who knows? Like he's still going pretty strong right now. I think with the whole change again of the character. Another honorable mention for myself was definitely Mr. Moxley.
Yeah, I'm not surprised there, my friend. I thought he'd be a little higher, to be honest.
Yeah, not the most conventional, like, style, but it's just the things that he did this year, from like starting off the year with the shit that was happening in WWE, man.
What is that smell?
Like,
what is that smell?
From that,
like was that this year? That was 2018, maybe.
No, that was 2019. Like that, the end, like,
and the vaccinations.
The
and
beginning
all
of 2019, he was still WWE, man, and
for sure, he was still and
that whole match, like with Seth, like there was a build, and then the match to just not. Like, it was just a shit show, and then
the stuff they did that was good, though, was that Shield final chapter.
Yeah.
Like, kind of sending him off in that way now. I mean, I guess whatever it looks like now, he's in another company, but they ended it the right way.
Him shaking up the world, like the wrestling world, really, like us even talking about it, like, is this a word? Like, what's
the podcast
going on?
stuff, too? Like, so much so that we opened the roundtable that week with a clip of a podcast from a wrestler, which is not something we ever did or did after.
Yeah.
So that alone, yeah, he shook up the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Not only just, on the mat.
Well, that's what I want to get to next, because to me, he really could have been my choice here. Like, from when he walked into New Japan, like, as the first things that he did, and winning the U.S. title, like, first night, was fucking crazy. And the run he had in the G1, like, I watched every match,
which he never lost. You said,
specifically,
right?
Yeah, like he lost in like a hokey way.
No, but I mean,
the U.S. title.
Yeah, he never technically lost the United States.
He's New
Japan United States Championship.
Wants to reclaim it now in 2020. So yeah, that stuff, man. The stuff he's done over in AEW, just the everything, man. It was wicked. Good year for him. And I think potentially, man, 2020 he could end up another guy, just like I said about D-Bry, is like he could end up being that wrestler of the year easily if he goes on a hot run this year, Wednesday. Like, who knows what this guy could do.
Stay tuned for next year's show.
Sky's the limit. This one, my friend, this one was
up and down. I don't know.
So hard, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So hard
because I don't even know who you're gonna say.
Adam Cole, bro.
Oh, okay.
Adam Cole. He almost no. He's not my pick.
Oh,
he's not my wrestler of the year.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
bomb drop. Drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
Shit.
Drop the bomb.
I thought he was your wrestler of the year.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. These honorable mentions here. Like, it was tough. It was real tough. And Adam Cole, man, he was in the talk before the whole Survivor Series shakeup invasion little thing that was going on. He was in my mind already, just because of the shit that he was doing in the matches that he was putting on and the run he's been on with the NXT title. But then, when he came in and to Raw and SmackDown and started fucking shit up, putting on fucking dope matches with Daniel Bryan on like 24 hours notice, less than probably, like the match with Seth on Raw, and like the Wargate, like, just this guy really like stepped on the fucking gas towards the end of the year, where I was like, shit, Adam Cole might be,
and he's the champ,
my pick
of NXT. But yeah, I thought
guess,
he was your pick. You fooled me there for a second. Now I'm even more curious.
I guess safe to say the only reason he's not is that, and not even I don't want to discredit the guy too much, but like sometimes his in-ring work, to me, like, there's little glitches in matches that I don't like. It's little glitches, and I don't even. Do you know what I mean, kinda?
Not particularly.
Like,
no.
I don't like his execution of certain moves. I feel like they could be done a little bit better.
Like a little more practical?
A little more oomph to them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
A little more oomph to him.
I mean, he is small, so that might have something to do with it, but
yeah,
as far as power.
More oomph, yeah.
Yeah.
His match with Matt Riddle was awesome throughout the year, too. Finn Balor. Like,
the double matches he had with Gargano, yeah.
Everything. All
right, give it to me here. Now I have no idea. I thought it was Cole. I really thought it was Cole.
Yeah, man, here we go. Could you imagine if it was like Roman Reigns or something? Silence. Okay, no. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my 2019 Wrestler of the Year is Kota Ibushi. Yeah.
Wow.
Let me break it down for you.
Yeah,
man.
let's.
So, fuck. Like I said, it was so tough. Easily could have been any one of these guys that I mentioned leading into this. Easily, I think, could have been any one of them. He won the G1.
Yep.
Finally, which is a huge accomplishment in itself. I think that at this point in this guy's career, for how long he's been around, that this is I wanted to give the nod. I really did, because I think he's had a phenomenal fucking year, man.
It's not over. Well,
a lot of his matches to me were in the talk for match of the year, even. So let's go back to when he won the Intercontinental title in New Japan also this year. First time he ever won that title from Naito. Like, that in itself was a big moment.
That's a big title over there.
That match was fucking awesome too. I didn't give that match enough praise throughout the show. His run in the G1, again, like I said, the match with Kenta, man, was like one of my favorites throughout the year too. He had a great run in that fucking tournament, and a lot of that, man, just to go on that kind of run over that, like, that time span in such a like a quick turnaround, like, where not many breaks are taken to keep going and put on phenomenal fucking 5-star matches with fucking Okada, Jay White, Kenta, whoever the fuck you're, Naito, like, whoever you're tangoing up with, and putting on
list, man.
These fucking crazy matches, man, night after night, and then to finally at the end, like, win the tournament. hopefully this guy goes on and wins the title. I hope so, because that would just. I know we're at the end of the year,
and that's going to be at the beginning of 2020.
Mhm.
Yeah,
but I think
that would really cap off his.
And the whole
run
thing
here.
of it was like sink or swim. Like he could have went to AEW with the guys, but he's like, no,
Definitely.
I want to end my career here. I'm staying, and probably had one of the best years of his career.
Yeah, and maybe not end his career there, but you mean finish.
Oh, I think so. I think he wants to ride it out over in New Japan.
Oh, really?
Like, till the end.
See, I could see him winning that title, having a run with the title, and then going to AEW.
Mm.
But that's me speaking
Neither
more
here
of as
nor-
an outsider
Yeah.
to New Japan as well, right? But yeah, dude, that's I mean,
Yeah, and I've said,
good pick.
yeah,
I got to give you the respectable applause for that one.
I've said in the past too, like this guy to me, like it's a perspective thing, who's the best wrestler, like it's opinion based, but to me, like he is one of the best out there on the planet right now. Like this guy he can go with anybody. His work is wicked.
Yeah,
Wicked. One of my favorites too. And like I said,
which the listeners of the Pro Wrestling Look Back know.
One of the best years of his career. To top it off with the win of the G1, that did it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and if he goes on to win at Wrestle Kingdom, I mean, I'm sure your answer will be even more meaningful and satisfied going forward. But yeah, I guess it's time for me to go, and we're gonna build it up. We're gonna do it a little bit different than we did the rest of the answers. So, starting my way down from my 3 honorable mentions, the number 1 honorable mention. Well, no, not the number. I don't know. The third of the honorable mentions, I guess. Mr. Seth Rollins.
Nice.
I gotta say him. I gotta, as much as he, wasn't your favorite this year, Don, and he may or may not have had the most exciting year from most pro wrestling fans, around the globe. I think his work that he put in from WrestleMania to SummerSlam alone, whether I enjoyed him winning at SummerSlam and that culminating moment of finally beating Brock Lesnar, and the rest of Toronto did, because I was the only one in my section that didn't stand up. Yeah. So, I mean, for me to put him in wrestler, honorable mention for Wrestler of the Year, and also not be somebody who was excited about him winning the championship, that says something alone. So I just want to make sure that, at least I knew going in that we weren't getting a Seth Rollins in the conversation as Wrestler of the Year from Donovan. So I figured I got to represent a little bit for a guy that's, he's put in all year. Yeah. He might not have had the best end of his run, but he peaked early, and he had a good few matches with Brock Lesnar, and then the match at SummerSlam, again, whether I liked the result or not, the match itself was good, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. So that's why he's one of the honorable mentions. Yeah. 2 more here, pretty familiar names. I don't have much to say. Just ditto almost everything that Donovan said with Daniel Bryan as a mention there for Wrestler of the Year. For me, it's more the Planet Champion and everything leading into WrestleMania and Kofi Mania. Like you said, you're the B+, and everything post-Mania, obviously not so much, being on pre-shows and stuff at Money in the Bank, but he just did such a good job of turning his character around. Like I said earlier, not who was the tag team match that he had last year? Was it him and Shane against 2 people at WrestleMania?
Oh, the previous, him and Shane against KO and Sami Zayn.
Yeah. So I mean, you wouldn't exactly call that his comeback year. Yeah. Technically it was his comeback year, but it wasn't his real coming out party for Daniel Bryan. And to see him be the heel and do the whole vegan thing was awesome. Mm-hmm. Another one, like I said, it's familiar names. Adam Cole. Yeah, I thought he was your Wrestler of the Year for a second. You had me fooled completely. So, that's another one. Everything you said, there's not much else for me to put on top of that you didn't already say. Yeah. His matches with Gargano, his matches with Ciampa that he's had still, the triple threat matches that he's currently having with Keith Lee and everybody. He might be the best guy in the company on the microphone, him and Kevin Owens. And I'm sure that there's a reason that they're best friends. Yeah. But yeah, just an outstanding year, and Adam Cole is more in this conversation for me because I'm just very excited and curious, if I had to pick 2 words, about the future of what Adam Cole is, and honestly surprised in my own interest in that. Yeah. Because if you would ask me 2 years ago, a year ago, go back to listen to the Roundtable episode 41, and I had my epiphany of realizing that I may or may not actually like Adam Cole. So that's another reason. I want to put one other. This is just a minor because you brought it up in Rookie, and for me, she did such a good job as a rookie that I almost want to give her like a honorable mention with an asterisk, maybe Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
Not because she had the best year, but it's just, I think, for someone to be that good in their first year, I don't want to put her as a wrestler of the year, but she's in that conversation as far as she did such a good job of learning quickly. I believe so, at least. And then here it is, wrestler of the year. Oh, yeah. I know you've been waiting, Don. You've been waiting. I don't know if you can guess, but it's the man. Yeah. It's Becky Lynch. Yeah. I have to go. I think I gave her wrestler of 2018 as well, and it was more for her, post everything.
You had AJ.
Did I give AJ?
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. See, Don remembers better than me. I'm going to have to go back and listen. I gave her something last year. Maybe it was match.
She had some shit last year too, for sure.
I definitely gave her some love. But yeah, I got to go with Becky Lynch. I mean, a 9-month title reign. She's had the title since what I talked about there earlier in the big culminating moment at WrestleMania 35 all the way till now. And it's coming full circle here with her fighting Asuka, going into the Royal Rumble. The one wrestler that she hasn't been able to beat, somebody she lost to last year at the Royal Rumble and lost her title. Yeah. Was it her title? No.
Kind of kickstarted a lot of the...
Exactly. Kickstarted this whole year that we've gotten from Becky Lynch. And, I mean, maybe a controversial opinion, but in my opinion, the face of WWE in 2019 is Becky Lynch. She was on the cover of the video game. She's all over the social media. She's talked about more on wrestling podcasts and just like Twitter accounts and that sort of thing. Even their personal accounts. Like there's a lot of Becky's face all over the WWE social media accounts. Not to say that makes you wrestler of the year. It doesn't. But it means that you were one of the most significant wrestlers of the year. I don't think that any of the matches that she has are ever poor quality. They may not be in the conversation of the best in-ring matches of that year, but they're always good. They're consistently good. The one that she had at SummerSlam with Natalya, I think, surprised a lot of people in the main event, or in the opener, sorry, not the main event. And then, I don't even know what else I have written down, but just, to me, she feuded and rivaled one of the top women in combat and sports in general. So that alone, beating Ronda Rousey, being the one that was chosen to beat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania in the main event, and then continue this reign all the way till now, till that, we'll find out what happens at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania this year. But I don't want to sound cliche, man, but it's got to be that. And then on top of everything I just said, she won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
In January of 2019, and then main evented WrestleMania and won. So those are check as far as, bucket list things you want to do.
Done several other main events throughout the year as well.
Oh my God, yeah. She main evented, TLC?
Yep, TLC.
Was it this year, TLC? No, I'm getting confused.
Yeah, because that was the one that just...
Yeah.
Well, it just passed,
They did, with Charlotte. Yep. And I called that on the roundtable, speaking of that, because we're not going to have a chance to talk about that anywhere else. But I called that on the roundtable, saying that I think that match is going to be the one to main event.
Survivor Series with the match, too. All the women involved.
The triple threat, even though she didn't come out on top of that one there. Another honorable mention, I guess, is Shayna Baszler. You just reminded me there.
Yeah.
She's another person that we haven't talked about in this show at all. But maybe as far as like an NXT wrestler of the year, if I'm making a category on the fly, she might be my NXT wrestler of the year. So I'll definitely put her in that same, maybe more than I said for Lacey Evans, as far as an honorable mention in wrestler of the year. But yeah, my wrestler of the year, Becky Lynch, man.
Yeah, I like it. I not that I don't want to give her praise either, but I was pretty confident that you were gonna
choose Becky.
Yeah.
I figured you thought I would, because obviously I'm such a big fan. She's probably my favorite wrestler in the company. And one of the reasons I like tuning into the show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it's everything for me. It's the video games, the main events of pay-per-views, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, double title belts, my favorite poster of the year.
Yeah.
Probably one of the highest selling T-shirts of the year.
That Hell in a Cell match too. That was up there, man.
Yeah,
that was up there.
It was inventive and creative and different. The stuff she did with Sasha Banks, and then like I said, consistency. Every match that she has is at least a 3-star. You're never going to get one of those duds, I find, from Becky. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a big fan, but I don't know. I hope that the opinions of myself and Donovan have been different in a sense that you get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely.
You get kind of different reasons as to why wrestlers are Wrestler of the Year. And obviously, we both know, you yourself included, Donovan, that these aren't the definitive wrestlers and matches and feuds of the year.
Yes, they are.
But they're ours, and this is, you'll forever be able to go back and hear the opinions of us at the Pro Wrestling Look Back with me, Nick, bringing back the third person. It's been a while, jeez. And Donovan over there's opinions of 2019 and the pro wrestling that took place in 2019.
I love how different a lot of our things were too, man.
Dude,
it was cool.
Completely
really cool.
Different and, unexpected. But I think that's one of my favorite parts about doing this is me and you have zero communication as far as what these lists are going into the show. We have no idea what you're going to say, what I'm going to say. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Another year.
Yeah, here we are, still going strong.
2 years of the PWLB that we've been rocking. So anybody who's been listening way back to that post Royal Rumble show back in January of 2018, and maybe you got the mug with the date right on there. Yeah. I know I got a sweater for Christmas. I got our own sweater for Christmas. How funny is that?
You told me.
I got a sweater with PWLB, and then I got paid. I told the person, I'm like, well, I'm going to get paid a little bit for that. You know that, right? But we appreciate anybody checking out the show. This is the Pro Wrestling LookBack podcast. Like we said before, going forward in the new year, we're going to be known as the LookBack Show on Instagram and Twitter. It'll be the LookBack Show on Spotify, iTunes, PodBean, everywhere you look up. It'll be under the LookBack Show. You'll have the Pro Wrestling LookBack under there, as well as the F1 LookBack. And we're going to keep the roundtable going with a bit of a tweak in format, kind of getting guys from both episodes. Myself and Donovan, as well as Will and Phil from the Formula One Look Back, all kind of shooting the shit, talking our stuff on the roundtable. But if you don't already, go follow us for now at PW Lookback. Going forward at the LookBack Show on Instagram and Twitter. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, share, comment, DM, PM, whatever you want. Pro Wrestling LookBack at gmail.com or the LookBack Show at gmail.com is where you can also get in contact with us. Questions, topics for ideas for shows, or even ideas for future Lookback shows, or F1 at Lookbacks, Formula One Lookbacks, Pro Wrestling Lookbacks. It's a lot of Lookbacks done. Either way, we appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button on all those: iTunes, Spotify, PodBean, YouTube, and Google Play. Leave us a good comment. We appreciate that. I mean, leave us any comment, like I always say, but preferably a good one. We want to know what you think of the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
My Twitter is at JustDon44. It's not going to change anytime soon. Shout out to homie who wants the championship look back, because in 2020 you will get lots.
Yeah, we're going to have more of a normal schedule. We're changing a bit of the recordings, but yeah, championship look back's on the way. And what about at the Dawn Hour? Because I keep telling people that one when you're not here. So is
my Insta? Yeah.
Is that the Insta?
Yeah, I mean, hit me up if you want.
Give him the music one too. You might as well.
At the Dawn. Oh yeah, my music page at Just Dawn Music. Just Dawn _music.
Got some new stuff. We'll probably do some collaborations, as maybe releasing some stuff through the Look Back in 2020 as well. But I guess that's it from us here at the LookBack Show and the Pro Wrestling Look Back. I'm Nick.
And I'm Donovan, telling you to stay classy, and I will see you in 2020.